I'm standing in a test pit near the house that's being excavated by Sam. As you can see, the first years we found a dwelling, let's say, or a sequence of dwelling that was lying on the top of the crest here with the first pavement that was actually being eroded and visible. We went through that because it was completely destroyed, and we started excavating the living floor of a house here on which Sam is now working. So basically that house, we had a date for it, more or less, that was giving us something like the 12th or the 13th century. And the question was, in this specific area, are there other dwellings, other floors, other pavements below that segment? The main question is still to understand the history of the site. So what we do in this case, to have a better view of how things evolved, that, you know, for which the end point was this village that we are starting to excavate on top, is to sink a pit, excavate a pit down to the natural layer that is somewhere maybe a meter or two below where I'm standing. Now the trick is, as we went down, we can see that there are in fact different layers of occupation that have been succeeding over time. No other pavements though, just a small one was found below. But after that, what we found is basically layers of occupation, and probably what is this huge yellow stuff here, what is the rubble of houses that collapsed, and in which we found fragments of potsherds, bits and pieces of broken bones, fishes, and charcoal, which will help us date the sequence, the evolution of the site. The pavement is here, and it goes down in the beginning of my stratigraphy. We can see it here. So basically, everything that's below that will be preceding the building of the house that Sam is excavating. Now, below that, we can see that we have at least we have a huge layer here between the pavement and here. We have another layer here that is giving us a sort of horizon on which there are potsherds which are flat on some surface that was there, and there's another one here. Now the interesting thing is that within these different levels or horizons, we have pits like this one, which started obviously sometime before, that was done before the house that Sam is excavating. This, with you can see the gray ashy stuff here. It's basically a pit that was dug by people who were living more or less at that level, and they made a pit probably to get some clay to build a house, for instance. And once the pit was excavated and empty, it started to be used as a trash pit. So they throw away garbage, and that's ash is probably ash coming from earths, cooking remains, etc. It's full of bones, fish bones, potsherds, nuts, things like that we can date. And then we will have a date for the house on top. We will have a date for that pit here. Now, while we were going down, we found another pit that was starting even more further down. And there's another one here that is just starting. So that means that probably these lower pits were done when the living floor was at this level or at this one. Basically, that sums it up for the moment, because as you can see, I'm now standing in an unfinished test pit. We are still going down until we reach that natural layer. Once we have that, we will have a full sequence of the different phases of occupation of the site. The pottery coming out of the refuse pits that we found on the way down will give us the styles of pottery, the food habits. The charcoal and nuts may give us the environment at each of these different phases. And the charcoal and nuts that we found in the pits will give us dates that will help us to understand the length of occupation and its different phases.